Stephen has no control over the actions of the U.S. government. He's an innocent journalist. As a mother, I ask your justice to be merciful and not punish my son for matters he has no control over. I ask you to please release my child. I ask you to use your authority to spare his life.
That was the mother of Stephen Sotoloff, an American journalist currently held by the terror group ISIS. Today, she released that video pleading with the group and with President Obama to spare the life of her son. The question at the White House: what is the plan? Chief White House correspondent Ed Henry live for us tonight. Ed?
Well, Megyn, they're still looking for a plan, even though there's more chaos tonight in Syria. The Syrian rebels, who are supposed to be sort of the moderate good guys, actually work with an al-Qaeda-linked group to seize a crossing, a frontier crossing with Israel on the Golan Heights. That is significant because we're told tonight this is just a symbolic move, but it could edge Israel closer to being drawn into this brutal civil war. All of this happening, of course, as these ISIS militants continue to gain strength in Iraq and Syria. Republican Senator John McCain today demanding the president come up with that plan you're talking about to defeat ISIS, not just contain them, something I pressed Josh Earnest about. Listen.
What is the strategy then? You know, if for the president to say, we're going to root out the cancer, that's more of a slogan than a strategy, isn't it?
Well,
what does that mean, root out the cancer? What, how?
Well, I think that, as I've mentioned in answer to Roger's question, that the president has laid out a comprehensive strategy for dealing with the threat posed by ISIL.
He went on to say that includes U.S. military might, but also diplomatic moves, which might be a suggestion that for all this talk, the president's edging closer to military action in Syria. He might actually be pulling back, rethinking all of this and seeing whether there are some diplomatic ways out here. The other thing we should point out is on Friday, he's going to take a time out from these deliberations. The White House says he's going to Rhode Island for Democratic fundraising.
What?
Right? He's fundraising on Friday. With House Democrats. And so the optics he got beat up on over playing golf during vacation, it went back and forth on that. Clearly, he doesn't care about the criticism. He's going to be fundraising on Friday.
Ed, thank you. Joining me now to react, Mark Thiessen, a former presidential speechwriter and a fellow with the American Enterprise Institute. Really? He's going to take a time out from all the work he's been doing in the vineyard to go do some fundraising while we consider whether we need to bomb Syria and perhaps put boots on the ground?
Yeah, maybe if it was a golf fundraiser, then that would complete the circle for him. I mean, it's just absurd. Like what Josh Earnest said at that podium is just a complete fabrication. The idea that he has a comprehensive plan to defeat ISIS. Just a week ago, President Obama was saying it's not his responsibility to defeat ISIS. He said, we're not the Iraqi army, we're not the Iraqi Air Force, they have to take care of it. So a week ago, it was their problem. Now we've got a comprehensive strategy to deal with it. I mean, I don't know where these people come up with this stuff.
He has also said, however, that ISIS is just claiming that it is a war with the United States, and that in fact this is a regional problem, and it should be a coalition of the willing who deals with it.
Yeah, a couple of things. One, that it's just a regional problem and they're not really interested in hitting us. That's what they said about al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula in 2009 before they sent the underwear bomber to blow up a plane over Detroit. And that wasn't a stopped terrorist attack. That was a failed terrorist attack. The bomb malfunctioned. And then as far as not being at war with them, they have said they're at war with us. The leader of al-Qaeda, of ISIS, has said, my message to the Americans is, we are going to be in direct confrontation. The sons of Islam have prepared for this day. So I don't know how he could be any clearer than that. In the 1990s, in the Clinton administration, al-Qaeda declared war on the United States. We ignored it, and the result was 9/11, and it looks like history's repeating itself. Do you believe, Mark, that this president is prepared to go into Syria? They say they're trying to get together a coalition, including many in the region, from Jordan to Qatar to Saudi Arabia, Turkey. So far, the only ones who have apparently signed on are Britain and Australia. Thanks for that, Jordan. Yeah, this isn't the first time I've heard the president indicate he might take military action in Syria and then not follow through. So I'll believe it when I see it. I think this is a president who does, I hope he does something, because you cannot deal with this ISIS threat unless you take out their command and control in Syria. But last time he found a way out.
That was said by General Martin Dempsey. That's not Mark Thiessen.
Yeah.
That's the president's own general, the Joint Chiefs of the Staff. I got to go, Mark. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Megyn.
Also with us tonight, Penny Lee, a Democratic strategist and former advisor to Senator Harry Reid. Can I just start with that, Penny? What's he doing going to a Democratic fundraiser when we're weighing whether we're going to bomb Syria?
You know, I mean, the president, as you know, the White House always travels with the president, and wherever he is,
the
issues
come
and things
on, stop
go
that.
with him. But I will say that
Get real.
Megyn, I would say on that. Let me finish. I would just say that you're right, that the optics aren't good, and
it's
that
not
there's
just
many
the
of
optics.
us, and
it's the actual behavior. Get back and start governing. Americans could die. They could die in executing those strikes. If they're not effective, they could die back here in an attack on the homeland or our interests elsewhere. What's he doing?
Megyn, as I was trying to say, I agree with you, and I do think that the president can and should be able to, should stay and actually have the optics that are right and do the hard meetings that he is doing right now. What we don't know, what you and I don't know, is those hard conversations that are being taken place, that he is asking the tough questions that need to be,
I believe you
so
that
we
he's
can
doing that.
have
I just
a
think,
right strategy,
no,
because what we don't want to do.
I'm not suggesting he's not having those meetings. The reports today are that he is, but I think it might be a multi-day affair. I think maybe he should spend more than just a few days on it, because he's been on vacation all these weeks, and he should actually spend Friday, even Friday, avoiding the Democratic fundraiser and deciding whether it is worth the risk to American lives to send our military over Syria. But let's get to the question about ISIS and whether he does, in fact, have a comprehensive strategy, because you know there are many in this country tonight who believe no more American lives in this region. Syria is a hot mess. ISIS, according to the administration this week, is a regional problem, and we don't want to expend any more blood and treasure over there.
Actually, and what the president is trying to do is make sure that he can isolate and take out ISIS without alienating the entire Muslim Arab region. And so what he doesn't want to do is antagonize it so that we have the entire Muslim world against us. So he is having those conversations.
Isn't it too late for that? I mean, Syria,
but you can't
ISIS
go
is
into
totally
Syria
against us.
you cannot go into Syria as a sovereign nation and just decide to go ahead and bomb them. You want to have a coalition of those Arab states around you. Otherwise, you are going to antagonize it and bring a whole war on you that you didn't want to invite.
So far,
instead
they're
of
not
just isolating
so far, we've got
ISIS,
Great Britain. That's not a shock. Where's the coalition? Where are all the people who should be supporting us?
You know, I think that the conversations are being had, and hopefully our Arab neighbors who have dismissed or who have called out ISIS for saying that they themselves find it in their behavior so egregious that they need to step up. So Saudi Arabia, Jordan, others, we are asking them to step up, and I hope that they do.
The problem is Syria is so complex, and there's so many different factions there that the region's very divided on whether they want to get into this or not. Penny, thanks for being here.
Thanks.
We're also getting some new and horrifying accounts from Christians hunted down by these terrorists in the Middle East. Tony Perkins has that news next.